Vikash or Sahil, can you tell me that is it clear now? Am I audible to all? Yes, am I audible to all? All right. Okay. So thank you so much, Rishita, Disha, everyone. Thank you for giving the inputs that my voice is coming now clear. So I again, I'll start from the scratch, and I welcome you that we are here for the orientation session on the national education policy with a focus on innovation and entrepreneurship. Now, already I have started by saying that many of you are already aware, since many of you have enrolled for the as a student representatives with the institution's innovation council. So this is going to be our first session in the capacity of me as the innovation convener, wherein I'm going to tell you that what are the commendable policies government of India has announced, and also the AICT, which we are following, and we are putting in action in our institution, and what is there for you to take away, and how it is going to benefit you not only now but also in the career, and also in the development of our nation. So this is a kind of a orientation which I'm going to give you. How I'm going to pursue this orientation is that I'm going to give you a brief idea about the concept of national education policy. Also, we'll talk in detail about institutions innovation council. Then I'll move to a video wherein I'm going to show you that how AICT has been promoting the innovation by the various efforts of theirs. So I'll be playing a video for you so that you people get sensitized and get inspired that entrepreneurship, and think in a very serious mode, that entrepreneurship is not only by, you may say ki, now if we are not able to do much, so and we will should take on entrepreneurship, rather it should be coming as the first career option to the students. So I'll begin by talking about the national education policy. Now when I talk about national education policy, uh, many of you must know, would be knowing that government of India has announced a new education policy in the year 2020, and it is a kind of first education policy since since many years, and it is basically there to address the various developmental imperatives of our country, because we see that India is a growing nation. We have got a enormous population. We've seen that India is becoming a kind of a center for various kind of activities, wherein people are, various MNCs are trying to set up their centers in India, because India is a growing market. And if you look at the from the various parameters, India is still developing, despite that we have received a setback due to corona. But we have got another very important element, that Indian population, or India's population is largely very young. So this is basically that half of our population, or 50% of our population, is below the age of 30. So it is a kind of demographic dividend. Now I'm saying this is a demographic dividend, because if we put us, if we are making some efforts to utilize this demographic, we have got this young population, if we are using some kind of instrument so that these population is been put to use, everybody whosoever is employable has got the employment, then it is, will be truly be able to convert our nation, our demographic into a demographic dividend. So government of India has been making lot of changes in the education system, so that our education system is creating individuals which are employment worthy. So the policy has got a huge amount of revision. Many of you must have gone through into the newspapers, and must have seen that, because while it was announced, it was making all sorts of headlines in the print media, also in the in the digital media. So it has got revamping into all kind of formats in the regulation, in the governance, and it is basically to have a kind of sustainable development goals, while India, while we are still stressing upon India's traditions and value system. So I hope I'm making myself clear where I'm saying that national education policy is one of the first imperative which the government of India has got, so that we can utilize the demographics of our own nation. We have got widely youth, and all of many of us, they are in the age of employment. They are employment ready, or they are going to be employment ready in the next decade. So we need to have the education system in a way that it is making that making those individuals capable of not only developing or not only getting the employment, but also generating employment for others. So continuing with the national education policy speaks volumes about that how the school education should be, and also how the education should be in the higher education institutions, which is popularly called as HEIs, that is higher educational institutions. So in the case of higher educational institutions, government of India has got a very kind of very ambitious plans, we would say, because right now when I am mentioning here is gross enrollment ratio, which is GER, which is standing right now at 22%. Government of India is aiming to increase it up by 50% till the time of 2035. So national education policy wants that we should have more of an inclusive education, where the education is reaching towards the all and nooks and corners of India. At the same point of time, this education is making sense to the youngsters. So I repeat myself for the convenience that it is a kind of a policy wherein we are going to focus on some important aspects, so that the skills, the right kind of skills are developed within the people, and also the skill set reaching towards all the population, or that means we have got a bigger inclusive set of population which is covered under education. So this is National Education Policy 2020. Now let's see that what actually it is envisaged that we what we should have. So this national education policy is focusing that we should have a higher educational architecture, which is based upon large, well resourced, vibrant and autonomous multidisciplinary institutions. Multidisciplinary is going to be the key in the new education policy, wherein we have more and more focus on the teaching, research, and also on expanding the reach and capacity while building the strong educational communities. So this is the aim of the national education policy. Now, if I continue further, we have got some kind of implementation programs already been established by government. Now, what is the implementation program which has been established? Is one of them is the Ministry of Education's Innovation Cell, that is which is called as MIC. So the students who have got themselves enrolled for as a student representatives in the Institution Innovation Council would come to know about all these terminologies very, very soon. Now here the Ministry of Education, Government of India, has established its innovation cell at All India Council of Technical Education, with the purpose of systematically fostering the culture of innovation at all higher educational institutions. And it is which is called as popularly called as MIC, is focusing on to create and strengthen the culture of innovation and entrepreneurship ecosystem across all HEIs, to enable them in promoting and supporting student innovations and sustainable startups from the academic institutions. Now, I'll take a brief, uh, move from the presentation here, and take a question to the students, that how much you think is entrepreneurship important for us. Anybody who would like to speak here to or respond to the question may raise hands. We have got a we have enabled a hand raise option. So if you raise your hand, I'll be able to make you a presenter here, and you'll be able to put up your answers. So I am repeating my question. like I'm focusing, I'm giving inputs here, that the Ministry of Education's Innovation Council, which is popularly called as MIC, it has been established with the AICTE. Now this cell has been developed so that we can focus on, or we can strengthen the culture of innovation and entrepreneurship ecosystem across all higher educational institutions, so that we promote students innovations, because students are, when being a student, we people should be more and more creative. We should be thinking more out of the box. And as a student, I'm 100% sure, if you are coming from the technical background, it would come to you naturally. But even if you are coming from a management background, there would be a lot of things which would come to your mind, that how we can actually provide new innovative solutions to the existing problems. Like we have seen of late in our system itself, that many of the startups, like we have seen the Paytm, we have seen Ola, Uber. Uber is a multinational company, but we have seen various other companies have been flourishing. Reason being that they are giving some solutions to already, to some solutions, some innovative solutions are offered by them. So many of these people were the students of various business school as well. So if you have some innovative ideas, if the students have some innovative solutions to offer, then the academic institution should have capacity to mentor them, to help them in gaining the foothold, so that they can promote their entrepreneurship in later on life. So if my question remains here, that how much you think is entrepreneurship important for a country like India? And I am welcoming everybody who would like to answer to this question. You can do it in a way of by writing in the chat box, uh, or you can raise your hand. So Disha, so I'm making you the presenter. You can join in. Sahil, is my voice not still coming? You can write back. Ishita or Vikas, anyone can tell me that is my voice still not coming? So, is it coming or is it not coming? All right. Now, let us continue and talk about the Ministry of Education's Innovation Cell initiatives. Now, you see that uh, MIC, which is the establishment by MHRD, and which was popularly earlier called as MHRD, but now it is Ministry of Education, and they are making various attempts, like Smart India hackathons, international hackathons, or adult ranking of institutions on institutional achievements, uh, establishment of institutions innovation council that we already have done, national innovation and startup policy, which is NISP for higher educational institutions, to engage and encourage and channelize the creative energy and entrepreneurial potential of Indian youths to build up innovation and enterprises. So this is the attempt by Ministry of Education's Innovation Cell. I have got a response coming in by Parul, that entrepreneurship creates job opportunities and overall growth of economy. Absolutely, Parul. It is indeed creator of a jobs. So entrepreneurship, like I asked a question a few moments back, that entrepreneurship, why do you think it is important? So if anybody else has answers to this, please put in the chat section, or I have allowed one person to enter, so we are waiting for him to join in as well. So Parul, it is absolutely clear that entrepreneurship is a Disha is saying that entrepreneurship must be in academics curriculum. Since India is a service providing sector, there's a huge need to provide employment. Absolutely. So like just now I mentioned, in the case of demographic dividend, just now said that in the case of demographics, India is having hugely uh, youth population. And for it to be called as a dividend, we need to have, we have to put in their energies into the right direction. So we should have the opportunities so that we are able to channelize those energies in the right direction. So when I'm saying that we are able to channelize their energies in the right direction, that means we should have jobs ready for them. So it is not just possible that everybody is standing in queue as a job seeker. We should have equal number of people who are available as the job creators, because otherwise we are going to lag behind. We would be serving most of the time the multinational corporations which are existing in India, and not really being able to do much for ourselves. So in that pursuance, government of India has been making a lot of programs like Atmanirbhar Bharat or Skill India campaign, wherein we have seen that few of the concepts have been picked up, and people we like there was a kind of hackathon which was been created for the toys. And as a result, many IITians, many students from the IITs have developed their prototypes, and now their products are in fact are going into the commercial into the commercialized phase as well. So rightly, Sachin, you're saying that for becoming self-reliant and becoming a market leader, entrepreneurship is definitely essential. Self-reliance. So far, the self-reliance model we have in India is that we are becoming more of a service sector, and service provider like BPOs and everything. But now it is a right time that we should utilize the potential of our youth as well. So this is a concept. Entrepreneurship is a concept which is very, very important. Now there was another word called innovation. Now innovation, I'll speak about major focus of IIC, but before that, let's talk about innovation. Now, we have got concepts like startup, we have got concepts like innovation, and a concept like entrepreneurship. Although all three are related, but what we are really keen is that the student should develop innovative ideas. And once you develop innovative ideas, you can be put into the category of being called as startup. Just opening another shop is not entitling a person to be called as a startup. For a startup to be, it has to have some necessary criteria to be met. Similarly, innovation, for any startup to have, innovation would always be a kind of an engine on which the startup would be running. So innovation is something which we are looking at, and innovation is something which the consumers are also looking at, because the solutions are already there, or few things are already there, and to catch the fancy of consumers, we must be really, really innovative. So innovation cell is it is like Vikas is saying, rightly Vikas, that innovation cell is very important because it gives a good way to young people to create good quality of jobs in startups. Absolutely. So we want innovation, and innovation cell also. Innovation cell is a kind of a platform wherein we are boosting innovation, wherein we are boosting all such kind of activities. We have got tie-ups with the mentoring people. We have got some kind of incubation facilities as well. So what we are focusing more on is that innovation is required. In today's time, when we are looking at the solutions to be offered, there should be more and more innovative. So if they will be more and more innovative, you will be able to catch the fancy of the consumers, and then you will be able to channelize, and you would be able to develop your own enterprise. So if you look at the the options of talk about Paytm. So when Paytm introduced, it was a kind of innovative idea. Although we could have had similar kind of startups existing otherwise, but when we look at this company, they brought something really, really new. So innovation now, if you look at various kinds of products nowadays which are available to you, look at the kind of the apps which you are doing. So everything is basically lasting on the concept of innovation. So, like Disha is writing again, we can transfuse our human resource and youths into a developing nation. By 2050, almost 70% of job will be taken over by AI. Okay, so keeping that in mind, the population size and also the fact that there is a lack of people in the country who have technical skills, and this is the correct time to get into the innovation and entrepreneurship. Very rightly said, Disha. However, AI is going to be a threat, but it is not going to take over the jobs. Rather, it is going to make the efficiency of the jobs better. However, you are rightly saying, Disha, that today, even on based on the artificial intelligence, we have got today a driverless metro. Started by our Prime Minister, our respected Prime Minister Modi, and he has given a green signal to a new kind of system in the metros. So definitely, AI is going to have a major disruptions in the way the businesses are functioning. But at the same point of time, as of now, we can say that AI is not going to completely change over the kind of jobs we have. Rather, it will change the way it has to be function. We everybody is looking for more efficiencies. Everybody is looking for a better solution. So this is what I'm saying, that in the case of innovation, we should have more and we should have more and more innovation to catch the fancy of the persons. So Sachin is saying that nowadays India is considered as a potential buyer, but after entrepreneurship, India would be considered as a potential seller in the world. Absolutely, Sachin. So if you want to see the real picture, then the right instrument is looking at the balance of payments and various other economic indicators to see that where India is standing. And if you are able to see all these things in a careful manner, you'll be able to realize that where are the opportunities lying. And to capturing on these opportunities, to capturing on, and to help you in capturing on these opportunities, we have got all these infrastructures done by that. So just now I mentioned MIC, which is by the government of India. Similarly, we have got our own institutions innovation council, which will be kind of a kind of a platform which will be helping you in understanding that what are the various government schemes to raise up the finance, and also the mentoring concepts which is already existing, and will become a kind of a kind of a bridge between these two persons, that somebody is acting as an angel investor and somebody who is looking for the opportunity. So will be working as a bridge between two, and facilitate the entire entrepreneurship process. So if I look at again the major focus of IIC, which is to create a vibrant local innovation ecosystem, to support mechanisms in HEIs, again to promote adult ranking of institutions, establish ecosystem for scouting ideas and pre-incubation, develop better cognitive abilities for technology students. So all these things are basically the focus of IIC. Like now I just, like I said, that I'll be moving towards the video. Now I'll show you the video. Now these are the student representations. We already taken the names: innovation coordinator, startup coordinator, internship coordinator, IPR coordinator, social media coordinator, and general members. So these are the student representation we are seeking in. Likewise here, those who are there as a student capacity, we would also have a faculty representative who will be looking after the innovation, startup, in the entrepreneurship, sorry, internship, IPR, social media, and other aspects of it. So to make you a detailed understanding on this, I'll be playing a video for you.
So the reason we are doing this session, that is a training cum orientation session on national innovation and startup policy for faculty and students, is to actually ensure that we create an enabling environment within our campuses to promote innovation and entrepreneurship. we have to. So as I was saying last time, Deepan, please go on mute. So as I was saying last time, if we have to evolve as a $5 trillion economy, which we are aiming for, we have to evolve as global innovation hub. And if we have to evolve as global innovation hub, then we really need to create thousands of islands or thousands of ecosystems within this country, which are self-sustaining and which are competitive and working on great ideas. And there cannot be a better place than our higher educational institutions to actually emerge as islands of these innovations. And for that reason, this national innovation and startup policy is very, very critical for us. This policy not only covers students, but this policy also covers faculty. So if you really get into the details of this policy, you will see that there are provisions made for faculty as well as there are provisions made for students to ensure that they pursue their good ideas as startups, they pursue their good ideas as an enterprise, and actually contribute towards wealth creation for this country. So as Professor K.K. Agarwal last time was saying, that research is conversion of wealth into knowledge, and innovation is conversion of knowledge into wealth. So the first aspect we are doing quite good now in this country. We are the third largest publishing country in the world. Okay, even in good journals. In terms of numbers also we are doing good, but as you all know that there are large number of controversies around the publications and the papers we end up publishing. But even if you set aside that point, if you just look at the publications in really good journals which have maybe impact factor more than 5, or we are doing pretty good. The H index of large number of our professors is pretty high. So as far as research is concerned, now we have there is also room for huge improvement. I'm not denying that, but we are doing good. Now we need to also focus on how we can convert this research into something which leads to products which has standing in market, and we actually help in wealth creation for this country. So I will give you a couple of examples which actually promoted me for getting into this national innovation and startup policy. So I was talking to few professors from really very good organization, and when I asked them that currently if you generate any revenue through consultancy or through your enterprise, what is the revenue sharing mechanism? Okay, so we got different answers from different institutions, we got different answers from different professors. So some said your institute takes away 30% of the revenue, some said institute takes away 50% of the revenue, some said institute takes away 60% of the revenue. Now, the simple question we really used to ask is, if 50 to 60% revenue अगर इंस्टीट्यूट निकाल लेगा किसी प्रोफेसर का, एंड 30% उसका अगर इनकम टैक्स निकाल लेता है, तो उसके पास बचता क्या है? What he actually ends up having in his hand. Like if 30% is taken by income tax and 50% or 60% is taken away by the institute, he hardly gets anything in his hand. So the motivation level goes down substantially. So we felt that this problem needs to be fixed. Then when we spoke to some students, so one of the case which I remember talking to, he was an IITian, and he said he started a venture in his hostel, and by working at night, by working later, and once when the director came to know about this venture, and the IP, the institute started claiming that the IP belongs to them. Institute had hardly played any role in actually supporting that IP, or he had hardly used any of the institute infrastructure. But the director of that institute didn't accept that claim. He said, "You are using hostel's internet actually to build this business or to run this business. And because you are using hostel internet facility, you are using our capacity, our facilities, and that's the reason you need to share the IP with us. The IP belongs to the institute, and based on the normal norms, you have to get into revenue sharing." So we felt that this is also very discouraging. So when we spoke to large number of students, we felt that there are real basic problems which are hampering this innovation and entrepreneurship ecosystem within our organization. Another, when we spoke to some tier 2, tier 3 institutions, some universities, we realized that students cannot actually get out, take a semester break or a year break officially and work on their startup. If they have to do that, then it is considered as fail or something, but there is no proper, or it gets stigmatized. So there was no proper way or methodology to actually handle these kind of aspects. Also, we felt that if a student actually is working on an enterprise or he's doing his startup, he's actually putting more efforts than what a normal student should do. And we were of the thought process that whether, because of these efforts which he is putting, whether it can be converted into some kind of credits, which student can bank and actually help him in his eventually degree course. So some of the IITs are certainly doing, but we felt that we really need to democratize it further. We really need to reach out to more universities, because 99.95% of our students are in tier 2, tier 3 organizations. And it is not that there are no good ideas coming from these students, because why students are in IITs or UDCTs or these kind of NITs is because they know how to crack JEE. It doesn't mean that they are really out of box thinkers or they're really very innovative in their thought process. So we felt that we need to create enabling mechanism across the educational institutes so that the innovation ecosystem, entrepreneurial ecosystem in these institutions will actually get strengthened and flourish. And that's the reason we decided to have this policy. Now, if you really look at the policy, we have given some caps. For example, how much an institute can hold as part of equity into any venture which a student is actually doing there or which is getting incubated. So when we spoke to, again, some organizations, we realized that a student has an idea. He wants to convert it into a venture. Institute says, yes, we will help you in converting it. We will give you the support. But you have to give us 30% equity, 40% equity. Now, without, and as the student is at a disadvantage, the institute ends up arm twisting them.
So, all right. So, I think, you have got a brief like here, National Innovation and Startup Policy, Mr. Abhay Jire, who is the innovation, head with the AICT he was speaking about. The students, you can have the access of the entire of the video. Yes. Now the voice is clear to all. Yes. So you can have the access of the entire of the video. I'll be sending the link to you. Now, let us try to understand the concept behind. Now, if you look at the concept here, the concept is that we need to promote innovation, we need to promote entrepreneurship. Now, I have already categorically said that in the case of entrepreneurship, India is now very, very lagging behind. We need to have more and more students, we have to have more and more students like you joining the bandwagon, and doing certain attempts into the areas which have been either not been treaded before, or some of the areas which have been already captured but still looking for newer options. So in innovation is something which is going to generate next level of the kind, or you would say that the kind of entrepreneurship we are looking for, or the kind of enterprises we are looking for nowadays, have to have backed by the and the by the innovation only. So today it is not going to be possible that we are offering a traditional solution to a problem. It is just not going to be helping us at all. We need to have more innovative and more wide encompassing kind of solution offered to the problem. So the kind of innovation institution innovation council we have developed will be looking after the various aspect of this entrepreneurship. Will be looking after the aspect of IPR. Like already we know, IPR is intellectual property rights. Intellectual property rights are like, if you develop something, if you have got, if you have created a product, if you have created a prototype, or if you have written something, even if it is a book, or you have developed an app, it is necessarily need to have a complete kind of approval, or a kind of a patent, wherein anybody can say that this actually belongs to you. Because it is not that it is the only, you are the only person in the world who is thinking in a particular manner. There would be tens and thousands of others who would be thinking on a similar pattern. So we need to have a kind of IPR. That means that we need to obtain the intellectual property rights against the product, against the prototype you have created. Similarly, now we are looking at the persons who are working as, we are looking who will be working as the social media coordinator. So social media coordinator is like, already we know today the social media is playing a very, very important role. And not only that, it is working as a mechanism wherein wherein we are using it, it is a tool to interact with others. Rather, it is a mechanism wherein we are having more of publicity, and we have got more of concepts like we are advertising our products over using the social media. So before I go further, let me just ask this question. Are you people still still interested to know about the entrepreneurship, or just tell me that how come social media playing a role in entrepreneurship? Just think about it, and tell your answers to chat, that how social media is playing a role in today's enterprises or entrepreneurship today. I'm repeating my question here, that how social media is playing a role in enterprises today or in entrepreneurship today. So the answers are awaited from you. I'm eagerly looking at some of the responses coming from your end. Yes. So, in case you've not been able to understand the question, I'm repeating my question. How social media is playing a role in today's entrepreneurship, or today's enterprises, or in entrepreneurship? Himanshi is saying to make the customer aware about the products. Yes, Himanshi, absolutely right. Sahil, simply helps in cost-friendly advertisement. Very good. Now, give me some real examples. How people utilize various social media. Just tell me that which social media is more popularly used. Is being largely used for affiliated marketing. Okay. Yes. So it helps in promoting the commodity and also helps in reaching the audience. Okay, brand recognition. All right. So brand recognition for advertisement. Okay. So I've got getting good responses. Yes. Try be elaborate here. Tell me that which social media platforms are more often utilized. Which social media platforms which more often utilized. Now, okay, Insta. Yes, social media is not only for promoting, but also as it is a business as well, like social media management. Okay, good. It is like a not only for promoting, but it is also a business as well. So, customer engagement, good. Instagram maybe okay, like right. So Instagram, Facebook, good. Social media plays a very important role in promoting and advertising. Examples is Instagram, WhatsApp, and Instagram. I think you should need to little scan little more. Now you see that we have got various tools available. Today there are few research instruments which are available, which helps us to find out that if a person is behaving in a particular manner on a social media, then what are the products he is looking at. And for example, talk about Facebook, we talk about Instagram, we talk about or we talk about even Twitter as well. So uh, YouTube started podcast now. Okay, so it's playing a huge role. I've got more responses. So you see that many instruments are nowadays available to filter out, and to give us that which is the customer segment whom we are going to target. And so social media is definitely not only playing a role; it is actually ruling the business these days. And like already we know that to send an Instagram post by so and so person, these people are paid hugely about it. So Disha is saying that it is playing a huge role in today's era. The advertising amount that boring amount that social media took into other level. Everything is now digital. It is cost effective, and the reach is very everything and more conversation today. Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn are most often used platform. Absolutely, Disha very correctly said. Nishta is saying social media is important through which we can get feedback of various products and vast platforms for entrepreneurs. Absolutely. So all of us already have started to utilize that, started to recognize that social media is indeed important. And now it is important that we should learn the art how to be into the social media and give a consistent kind of information on a consistent basis would definitely reap into good amount of benefits. So the student representation is in the form of the social media coordinator, and also we'll be looking at some of the persons who would be working at the ideation level, and also at somebody who is able to create prototypes of the product. Now when I'm talking about the prototypes, yes, uh, uh, so now Himanshu, can you elaborate what you want to say here? Now, innovation, we will be looking at innovation coordinator, somebody who is able to visualize, somebody who is able to create certain prototypes. Similarly, who is able to put it into the right kind of platform. Now that I may be good at visualizing, but or creating a prototype, but I'm not able to put it into the commercial usage, or how the which steps to follow to put it into a commercial product. So will be that is how we'll be looking at the startup coordinator. Will be have good amount of opportunities in the areas, or so we'll be looking at the internship coordinator. So, Mansi is again saying that social media is the most effective way in today's scenario. Nishtha Bhardwaj saying that social media is important through which we can get the feedback of various products and vast platforms for entrepreneurs. So, a lot of answers absolutely coming from your end. So, now our job is to put it in our minds that the that entrepreneurship and innovation is very very important. Also, like we have understood the concept that the social media is a platform wherein we can advertise our products in a cheaper manner. Also, social media is a kind of a platform wherein we can utilize that platform itself for the businesses. uh, Now, what this is the basic purpose of the today's program. So I am having again responses from the students that one of the student is saying that social media is acting as a tool of employment as well, because I need to talk to some social media influencer and then pitching them with your products. So this is absolutely, so a social media player of the social media has changed the way businesses have been conducted. So absolutely right. So the students, what I wanted to discuss through this session is that we must understand the concept of entrepreneurship and the concept of innovation, and how we can utilize, and we should have this in our mind that we should leverage these opportunities which are now available. Now, if you look at the kind of concepts the government has given, so will be will keep on as a kind of and institutions innovation council will keep on organizing various events, so that we can make you aware that how the entrepreneurship has to be done in a systematic manner. That means if you're thinking of using it as an opportunity and thinking of becoming an entrepreneur yourself, then what opportunities are available to you, so that you can leverage your ideas, and just not think that nothing can be done, this is just a vague idea, I've got no support. So if just to give your efforts a boost, we would be giving you entire of the the spectrum that which is available to you, so that you can work towards the direction of your own developing your own enterprise. So okay, so again we are getting some good responses. Himanshu is saying that music industry has almost changed from label to independent artists. Absolutely, Himanshu is very good example. Look at the way the in fact we have got one of the movie to name Secret Superstar, wherein this girl became a star by putting the videos on YouTube. Now obviously now we have got a lot of people teaching online, a lot of activities being conducted online. So YouTube is also becoming a platform by which we are changing the way businesses have been done today. So all this entire of this orientation program, the objective was to make you familiarize, make you that kind of inspiration in your mind that you must think towards this as well. So tomorrow, once you complete your MBA, the motivation should be that I want to create something on my own, or in fact, it should come in even prior, while you're doing your graduation only, so that you can utilize your ideas into a proper direction before you even get into the graduation. So I'll be sending the link of this this presentation which I just now show, this video which I just now shown to all of you, so that you can understand that what the schemes government has rolled out. And also in our forthcoming sessions we'll be talking in detail that what are the avenues for raising finances, how to develop your business plan, and so on. So various things, and in fact going into the definitions in detail about the what is the difference between a startup and a normal business, everything we'll do in our forthcoming sessions. So I'll conclude here. In case if you still have any questions, if you want to ask any question, you can write in the chat box. Otherwise, I'll conclude this session here, and thank you so much everybody joining me. Any questions before I conclude? Any questions anybody has? If you have any question, you can raise your hand also, or can try. Okay, yes, Shalini. Okay, Shalini. Social media helps to create own identity, either regarding any company or person, through which we can explore various types of activities. Okay, good. All right. So video is available on the Ministry of HRD, Ministry of Human Resources Development side, MHRD side. Also, I'll be sending the link to you. This is what I've made promise, that I'll be sending the link to you Also, we have got a lot of videos available related to the hackathons and related to the drug discovery hackathon which the government of India conducted. So I'll be sending the video links to all of you in a short span of time, so that you can see and understand that that how it has been taken by government of India, and identify the opportunities for yourself. Yes, so Sayyam, yes, these are the questions we would be keeping in stock for our next session. That how we can differentiate a startup from, kind of a normal business, or you're asking that how already set up business. So these are the questions we would be answering in the next session. Okay. Thank you so much. I'll conclude it here. Thank you, and hope you have understood the cause of entrepreneurship, and will be, working towards it together. So everybody, thank you.